Hello everyone, I'm Jack Fisher and welcome to my world. And in that world, I try to be keen on my audience's desires. Now I can only do so much. I only have so much control over what I do and how I do it. I'm not an angel, demon, or deity. But in the world of Lucifer Morningstar, the Netflix series, not the evil nemesis from the Bible, the rules and complexities are considerably different. In this world, divine intervention is a thing. Hell exists. Heaven exists. Powers greater than any individual sense of agency are a factor. It's a big part of the show's unique appeal and colorful theology. Now, I've been a big fan of this show since it first aired on Fox. Lucifer is one of those rare shows that starts out with a bold premise but doesn't rely entirely on that premise to carry the show. It dares to world build, evolve, and mature. It has a formula but isn't completely beholden to it. It's just one of the many mechanisms that helps Lucifer evolve and grow over time. For 5 seasons, spanning a network cancellation and a Netflix renewal, this show has taken many turns, some more devilish than others. Secrets have been exposed. Souls have been both corrupted and redeemed. Conflicts and adversaries have come and gone. The only true constant is Tom Ellis's unholy sex appeal. But Season 5 has been uniquely divine, if that's not too fitting a term. Now, I don't want to spoil too much. I'll just say that some of the show's most important subplots, going back to the very first episode of the very first season, finally come to a head. Romance, drama, and major character arcs really culminate in a meaningful way. It's a hell of a ride, so to speak. And I promise I'll try to keep puns like that to a minimum, because for this video, I want to focus on one of my favorite parts of this show. Its uniquely bold theology. Now, mixing religion and entertainment has always been messy, to say the least. You need only look at the cringy movies that Kevin Sorbo makes for proof of that. But Lucifer's greatest accomplishment, among many, is how it molds its theology. Yes, God is real in this world. Yes, heaven and hell exist. They're real places that people go to when they die. But these are not the same realms that we read about in holy texts or Dante's Inferno. Much of Lucifer's divine worldbuilding comes straight from the Neil Gaiman comics that inspired it. Comics which I cannot recommend enough. Seriously, check them out if you have a chance. I'll leave a link in the description. Beyond the presence and influence of celestial forces, there are some important themes in play. Primarily the choices people make, the consequences of those choices, and what influences them along the way. It's not beholden to one particular religion or ideology. But it is consistent with a few core traditions and not just the Abrahamic ones. Chief among them is this notion of punishment. It's one of Lucifer's most defining traits throughout every season, but it's not entirely focused on punishment inflicted by devils and demons. You see, in this world, when someone dies, their fate is not determined by some divine judge. In fact, Lucifer himself often pushes back on that concept. He's not the judge, and neither is God for that matter. At least when it comes to mortals. What sends someone to hell isn't how many sins they've committed or what holy books they believed were true. It's the weight of their guilt over the misdeeds they've done in life. From a purely theological standpoint, this makes sense. Guilt is a feeling that's nearly universal. Regardless of your race, culture, creed, or background, it's something you can't escape. You do something awful, you feel guilty about it. Historically, religion has offered rationalizations and recourses for such feelings. The finer details of those recourses are unimportant within the context of the show. For Lucifer, a person's guilt is what decides both their fate and their punishment. Now, the nature of that punishment is unique for the show as well, but it's still quite hellish. Right around Season 3, the show establishes the concept of the hell loop. In lieu of simply burning forever in a furnace of hellfire, the damned are put in a time loop of sorts, one uniquely crafted by the nature of their guilt. Their worst experiences, their worst moments, their worst fears, they're all played out in this endless loop. They relive it again and again. It truly is their own personal hell. And throughout the show, we see just how devastating it can be. However, one key detail is that Lucifer himself does not inflict this punishment. He doesn't even keep people trapped in this loop. In one episode, he says it outright.
What is it with you humans? Huh? Always blaming me. I never make any of you do anything.
That's not true. You trick us. into sin, damnation.
I have a story for you, reporter. One I've never told a human soul before. I take no part in who goes to hell.
Then who does?
You humans. You send yourselves, driven down by your own guilt, forcing yourselves to relive your sins over and over. And the best part, the doors aren't locked. You could leave any time. It says something that no one ever does, doesn't it?
It's true. The devil doesn't lie. The gates of hell are wide open, but nobody bothers to walk out. It's their guilt that keeps them there. Even full-blooded demons like Mazikeen only do so much. They primarily play a supporting role. The punishment of any one soul is decided for them moments after they die. There's not much choice or agency involved, at least from the perspective of Lucifer and the demons who inhabit hell. They act mostly as overseers and facilitators of damnation. But it's within this unique theology that Lucifer, both as a character and a concept, really stands out, because it places a heavy emphasis on the agency and choices of everyone involved, be they mortal, angel, or demon. Free will and what they do with their lives is the most critical element. Nothing is predetermined. Nothing is preordained. Everybody's place, both in life and in death, is a product of their choices. The presence of demons, angels, and deities simply adds complications to the mix. Yes, they all can influence people. They can even tempt people, as Lucifer often does with his devilish charm. But neither he nor celestial figures like him ever make people do something. Nobody ever sells their soul for this or that. In fact, in the very first episode, Lucifer establishes just how meaning a gesture that is. What matters more, both in that episode and every episode in Season 5, is what people choose to do with their lives. Why they do it also matters a great deal. It's why Lucifer is so big on bringing out people's innermost desires. Now, desires themselves don't make our choices, but they do reveal what people want and what they're willing to do to get it. Sometimes they're relatively harmless and even a little fun. Lucifer himself enjoys having fun and encourages others to do so. That's not a sin, nor does it warrant excessive guilt. But Lucifer's ability to draw out someone's desire isn't what damns a soul. You can make a deal with the devil, but that alone isn't what determines your fate. It's why you make it and what you do with it. And in Season 5, this concept is placed front and center. Because even though demons and devils can't make you do something, they can give you a nudge to some extent. Even if you're a demon or devil yourself, you're not immune. Someone can just whisper ideas into your ear, tempting you with doubts and feelings that you wouldn't have otherwise experienced. But that's as far as it goes. These divine forces only give you ideas. They do not tell you whether or even how to use them. In Season 5, if I can offer some light spoilers, this concept manifests literally in Lucifer's twin brother, Michael. He may be an angel, but within just a few episodes, he establishes himself as one of the most devious characters in the entire series. And in a series that has an actual literal god and devil, that's saying something. Michael directly attacks that agency and desire that is so critical to everyone's fate. And he's disturbingly effective at it. He's willing to lie, cheat, and manipulate, and that includes fellow angels. He's also willing to do it for entirely selfish reasons. His agenda isn't nearly as bold as others. To some extent, it's downright petty. But that's exactly what makes him such a terrifying adversary. Through his actions and his manipulations, Michael raises disturbing questions about how much agency anyone actually has. He actively attacks this idea that people actually know what they desire or why they desire it to begin with. What people think they want is often basic and short-sighted. While that can inspire plenty of sexy moments, as Lucifer himself has shown, it only gets complicated when you start to question those desires. Someone like Lucifer might not be inclined to ask those questions. Even Chloe, with her detective-like mindset, will only go so far in questioning herself or others. But Michael dares to poke and prod. He finds someone's weak point and he attacks it, putting toxic ideas in their minds that go on to affect their choices. Sometimes it's subtle. Sometimes it's overt and has a clear agenda, but the effect is the same. People start thinking things that undermines their agency. Now it's an open question. Are they doing this because they really want to? Or are they doing it because someone like Michael just put that idea in their head? The show does not offer simple answers. Throughout season 5, these characters are constantly put in a position of uncertainty. Drawing out someone's sincere, honest desire just isn't as easy anymore, literally in some episodes. When you're feeling that uncertain, how can you make a good decision? How do you even know it's the right one? And the guilt you may feel after, is it only yours to bear? These are very relevant questions in the context of the show. Your choices matter a great deal. They are critical in determining whether you're damned to a hell loop or to ascend to the Silver City on the arms of an angel, a la Charlotte Richards. Michael is directly interfering with that. What that means for him, Lucifer, Chloe, and his friends, it's not yet clear. But given how episode 8 of season 5 ended, there are some serious consequences brewing, holy and unholy alike. I don't want to spoil much else. If you haven't checked out Lucifer season 5, I highly recommend it. This show's devilish charm and colorful theology make it special. And the characters who navigate this divine narrative are so compelling in their own way. Having followed this show since its beginning, I feel like season 5 is a game changer in so many ways. It's both a culmination and an affirmation of everything that makes this show great. I don't claim to know where it goes from here. I'll just say that I know what I desire. What I truly desire is to see how it plays out. Thanks for watching, everyone, and thanks for joining me in my world. Please like, comment, and subscribe, if that is what you desire.